Bam, we're live. Just like that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Damn, again. Again. Why is this? You guys can't even hear me, can you? I'm very sorry. Damn, maybe it's time to replace the Roadcaster. Can you guys even hear me at all? Wow. I got to reboot the whole system. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure if you guys can even hear me. Can you guys hear me? Good morning, Brandon. Brian. Yeah, you can. Just ass audio. Wow. Microphone issues, Roadcaster going out. Good news is we got a new sponsor, which I'm actually really excited about. I'm actually excited about whenever we get someone who jumps on board. I don't think we've had one bad sponsor. Everyone's been so supportive. Let me see. Okay. Now. How about now? Yes. There we go. Oh. Wow, 5,000 people use Wodify. I didn't know that. 5,000 businesses. They do performance tracking, appointments for your clients, emails, visual workflow. Oh, how did people run their affiliate before there was software like this? Is this the number one software for affiliates worldwide? Independently owned company? That's always a good sign. Don't have to deal with the bullshit from investors. All right. I got to get I wonder if I'm going to be able to get the founder of Wodify on and ask him the entrepreneurial story. Wodify is a men's health group for 60 plus. Oh, I think Sousa's pivoting over to Wodify. I think whatever he's using now, he's fed up with it. And he's going to do Wodify. So that's cool. What happened to growing out a biblical beard? I don't know. I just walk by my shaver once in a while and I'm like, I just walk by my shaver once in a while and shave. My shaver just sits on the bathroom counter, plugged in, little wireless one. And anytime I want to use it, I just pull it up, pull the cord out. What is it? It's like called a Philip 20 or a Philip 1, or I forget what it's called. It's like a little $20 razor, little electric thing. It sounds like Greg did 2 podcasts yesterday. One with Chris Cooper from Two Brain Business, and then one with Doug Wilson. Oh, there is Greg. There's Greg right there. Hey, dude.
Wow.
Did you do?
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking of that, and the thing with Doug Wilson wasn't a podcast. I just zipped up to Idaho to have lunch with him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was, I don't know. I find it easy to talk to people, and maybe more importantly, easy to listen to people that I find fascinating. He says, "What brings you up here? Is it cultural, spiritual, or political?" And I go, intellectual, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I said, you intrigued me. I can tell you're highly intelligent. You're articulate. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, I'd go to church to listen to this shit.
And how long? What did you guys go out?
He's a powerful speaker and an important thinker.
Yeah. every video that I've watched of his after you've turned me on to him, I've really.
Up.
Is that me who's breaking up or you? Hello? Am I frozen or is Greg frozen?
Hi.
Hi. Am I frozen or are you frozen?
Yeah, your audio was choppy.
Oh, okay. I'm having a rough morning, technologically challenged morning. Every video you've sent me of his, or ever since you've turned me on to him, and the algorithm is pumping videos, I've enjoyed all of them. What's his deal? What did you learn from him? Is he a preacher? Does he have a congregation?
Yeah, he does, and he's the son of a preacher, a guy that was went to the Naval Academy. His dad, and found religion while serving.
Did he ask you if you're a believer?
No, it didn't come up, and I was that wasn't high on my list of things to go over.
I'm sure, but I'm surprised he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like if I was like I ask people all the time, do you train? Do you work out? Because it's a big part of my life. You know what I mean? Do you exercise? Like, I talk to people about kids. So if I was doing God all day, through the Bible, I would be curious what other people, people I interacted with, relationship to that. You know what I mean? Makes sense?
Look, here's where it goes. We sit down and we're kind of high and order, and he gets the Philly cheesesteak without the bread, has it as a scramble.
Mm-hmm.
And so, kicks the door open to talk about carbohydrate, right?
Yeah. And did you guys talk about that?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Cancer and metabolic disease.
The shitty science that makes something that's clinically undeniably obvious to see, to experience, impossible, etc.
Born in 1953. There's a picture of him with Colonel Sanders in the wiki page. Is he an author?
Yeah, he writes books.
Yeah, that's cool that you went up there. And any like big takeaways or anything shocking?
The Stickergate thing blows my mind. I sent you some details on that. His congregation denies the COVID stay under the bed in tremble order, and goes in front of the courthouse or something and sings hymns.
Mm-hmm.
And some members are arrested. And then his grandson and some other kids make these stickers. Now, this is a vinyl, non-adhesive sticker. And they get charged with a whole bunch of misdemeanors that sum to jail time.
For putting them like on windows and in bathrooms.
Yeah, for mocking the town fathers or whatever.
What's the charge? Like littering or damage, vandalism?
I don't know, but it's the state Supreme Court refused to hear it, and I guess another court said they have to hear it, and so they're just spending a lot of money on attorneys. And 2 of the kids who were arrested have gotten significant settlements from the city, so they could buy homes, kind of thing. And
so let me get this straight: the city went after them, Greg, and then they
dropped this, and they would drop the charges if the others would promise not to sue, which is an illegal offer. You can't do that. You can't. The determinant of a prosecution cannot be whether you litigate or not. You understand that?
Yeah.
That's a payoff, So I'm just shocked. I'm ashamed of my Idaho. And I was saying, if I were a judge and you were putting Hamas stickers on things, I'd make you take them off and clean the courthouse steps on Saturday. Next, you know what I mean?
Right.
Please,
right.
Jail time? Are you fucking nuts? That's some Kim Jong-un shit.
So explain this to me. What happened again? They were putting up these vinyl stickers. The
Yeah.
city pressed charges against them, and then they countersued and said, "Hey, there's some unlawful."
There was a handful of defendants, and it's in various stages of it looks to me like, fuck you, I'm going to fight this thing to the U.S. Supreme Court. They thought the Supremes, it seemed a slim chance it would get there. Something has changed that recently, and I'm getting close to where I'd say more about the case than I know.
Mm.
But I mean,
But it backfired on the government to press charges on these kids.
I hope it did.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It would change. It would change. I would vote for a liberal if some conservative judge is want to see a kid do time or a prosecutor. I'd get rid of him. You don't send kids to jail for putting stickers on things.
I heard this too, by the way, at first, but so that was funny the way you worded that. Someone asked, did Greg get high with them? I think they went to a restaurant called High Ground or something. You used the word high.
Jack Jacks.
Oh, okay. You said something about getting high, but I think it was maybe you went high north, or you used the word high. It was funny. At first I heard that too. Oh, you guys got high?
Save that for Rogan.
You guys shared a bong rip together.
Yeah, with the preacher.
Does he have a podcast, or all of his I've always seen all his presentations where he's sort of giving editorials. He's looking at the camera and talking.
I don't know him beyond those.
Okay, me neither.
And I was attracted to the fact that he's just 95 miles south of me. And I also thought there'd be likely some Kohberger gossip, and sure enough.
No, who's Kohberger?
He's that piece of shit that slaughtered those kids.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we were right there.
Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah.
Had he been following the case?
Well, you couldn't. I mean, that was an international story, and from Pullman, from Moscow, it's earth shattering for these people.
What happened? Is that case done?
No.
You want to give people a little background to that case?
Yeah, he's a PhD, up and coming professor of AJ, criminal justice guy, and he snuck into this kid's apartment and slaughtered them, butchered them. 4 of them, three girls and a boy. And the evidence against them is absolutely amazing. And what to me is fascinating about the case is that I think some people might struggle over the motive, because there really is none, and I'd have no trouble putting that together in a powerful prosecution. And if someone told me that he just wasn't a fan of Dexter, I'd tell you you're lying to me. But he had offered to help on cold cases to local cops, and they're like, "No, we're fine, thank you." And so what's he do? He creates a case.
Oh, shit.
The sheath of his knife got left behind, and they had that traced to his mom through me in 23, and within just days,
So you don't think there's a motive behind it other than
I do, and I would call it ego, is how I'd explain it to someone. But this kid's a East Coast privileged kid who is convinced that he's smarter than everyone else. He even talked about the case in the classroom.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, after he did it, he went back turned his cell phone back on, and then went to look at the scene.
So they did cell phone tracing on him. They saw
they had everything. It was crazy. A Nest Cam, the little car driving around. Again, there's the car. Again, there's the car. Again, there's the car. And then it was a matter of the cell phone turning off and on in the vicinity of where one of those cars was, reported by his own campus police. They're going through the mom's garbage, fucking taking DNA. They fucking had him.
And one of the people in the house survived, huh?
Yeah, there's a poor child who heard some noises she thought was someone crying, and she opened her door and stood there in the pitch black, and some guy walked past her and out inches away, and she went back in her room and closed the door and shivered for hours and hours and hours. But her description was amazing.
He was wearing a black balaclava from Dick's. That must be some sort of ski mask.
Yeah.
You've heard that word? Balaclava?
Yeah. You know what that is. It's the
one where you just the eyes.
Thing. Yeah. Pull it over.
Damn. The state may rely on video footage from November 13, 2022 at 3:02 a.m. showing a white sedan on State Route 270 between Pullman, Washington and Moscow, Idaho, approximately 1 hour before the homicides. Yeah, who the fuck's out driving around at 3 a.m? God.
They got the car rolling by the street. I believe I heard that maybe it's something I'm not supposed to talk about, but I think he attended a vigil, a candlelight vigil.
For the kids.
Uh-huh.
Were they students of his?
No. Different school.
How did he choose them? What were the odds?
He was in Washington, just right across a straight line. I have no idea, but I tell you what, those girls were beautiful. It's just Coeur d'Alene kid. Did they say
how he chose those 4 people?
No, I haven't heard anything about that, but I'm gonna suggest that social media probably helped.
Yeah. Yep. Good point. And he pleaded not guilty.
He didn't plea.
Yeah.
And that forces a not guilty by Idaho law. And I was like, come on, this is more evidence for me,
He crushed on one of the girls who worked at a restaurant he went to. Okay.
All right. Hey, Sevi, in that town, and those girls, I guarantee you everyone has seen them. Oh, I know who she is. Look, there she is again. You know what I mean?
They were that attractive, and like when they walked in,
crazy pretty. Look them up. Crazy pretty. Just good kids. And the young man was a good-looking kid too. I mean, just
the poor fucking parents. Jeez.
If ever a message needed to be sent, it would be in this case and with this turd. His arrogance, ego, conceit, depravity.
Oh, it was a boyfriend was at his girlfriend's house and he got killed too. Oh man. God, and those poor parents' lives are now ruined.
It's unthinkable. So anyways, moving on. That's an up there story as well.
Is it and he's up there in jail? That's going down all in Idaho?
They got to change a venue, which I understand, and I think they moved him to Boise.
Okay. And when you say make an example, you mean give him the death penalty?
I don't believe in the death penalty, but I'd like to see this guy get it. That doesn't mean I believe in it either.
Yeah.
I don't trust the state to get it right. I don't think there's any doubt what happened here for anyone.
That is funny. Sevon hasn't lived in cold areas. He's thinking of Mediterranean desserts. It's funny. When I first saw that word, I did read it as baklava. I didn't read it as balaclava. Am I pronouncing that right? Balaclava. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's what it is. You look at it; it's perfectly phonetic.
If it's what I think it is, it's kind of like it's the BLM protesters.
Right.
The Antifa mask. Yeah.
It's part of your riding equipment.
Jeez.
There's a thing we used to call a head gaiter that goes over the forehead and covers the ears and sits at the nape of the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you, I swear, it seems like 65% of the full deal without the steamy, shitty aspects, like it freezing to your face and stuff.
I learned to wear, what did you call it? A gaiter?
The head gaiter. I'm talking about the thing that goes over the forehead.
Yeah, I learned that from you when I bike. Yeah, that thing's amazing.
And that with a long sleeve shirt, you can ride a bike in 25-degree weather.
I learned that from you 100%. I was like, holy shit, you told me, hey, cover the ears and that your forehead and you'll be fine. And it was crazy what it did.
Yeah, amazing, stunning. Anymore, and it's too much.
Yep.
You can get your cute little rider's mask to freeze to your face, and that's not even nowhere near cool because of your your respiration.
Is that what you did? Did you ever wear the balaclava when you would ride to the gym in the morning?
I've tried it and like, this isn't going to work. It's not for exercise. It seemed to me, or it wasn't cold enough maybe. But we would bike ride in Santa Cruz and get back into the hills a little bit. And you'd see sub-freezing as evidence of the ice on the ground, you know?
Mm-hmm. The skateboard ramp at my house will have a big sheet of ice on it, you know.
It says it all there.
10 days a year.
Yeah, that does not happen at 33 degrees.
What do you mean? You're saying it has to be 32 or 30 below? Yeah. Hey, how you did Cooper's podcast? How was that?
Good. He's easy to talk to.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
I saw it was 90 minutes, so I figured it must have been good because normally I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. I just saw it this morning, but normally those podcasts are under an hour, so I figured it must have been going smooth.
Yeah, I just kind of let him work it, and I like it. He had some good questions.
When you were, how did it end with Doug Wilson? Do you think you'll see him again?
I do. In fact, I would I think what I'd like to do is sometime this summer, if it's not smoky and we're up there, take the drive south to Moscow and maybe hit him up see a sermon.
Oh, that would be cool. Oh yeah, that would be cool.
I know Maggie'd like that, and I'd be very curious. I was wondering if we sat down at the diner if he's going to talk like he does on his show. And Jimmy and I were both laughing like that. Wouldn't that be a trip? Yeah. He's nothing like that. In fact, he was a little bit shy and reserved, which make me like him even more. So he's going in when he does those things.
Yeah.
And it's intense. It's a good delivery. It's powerful.
Is he reading those?
I'm sorry?
Is he reading those when he does those on air? Do you know?
That's my feeling. For sure,
because they're pretty amazing.
He does enough of them that I don't think there's time to commit that to speech. It sounds reedy, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's so powerful and smooth. So I always wondered.
I'm never left with any doubt as to what he just said. You know?
Yeah.
No, I'd go to that church. Just
what do you think you like about him? You think it's his stance on morality, his position on, the
well,
place?
How fascinating it is that his everything about him comes from his religion, and I have none and have all those values. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I mean, we have some mutual friends. Oh, he was hugely impacted by William F. Buckley, as was I, at about the same time.
What year were you born?
I was born in 56. He's 53. So he's 3
Okay.
years my senior. But we both kind of got onto the National Review scene in 82, but I was raised on firing line. My dad would make me come in to watch that, and I actually didn't mind. And oddly, I had a pretty powerful awareness of what was being discussed, even though a lot of it went over my head. I remember vividly some of it, like, you know, it's he and Gloria Steinem, amazing. She was brilliant, a true intellectual. You know, who knew that?
Is she still with us?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Was she an attorney?
Look her up. I don't want to get her bio wrong.
Gloria Steinem, a journalist, American journalist, social, political activist who emerges national recognized leader in the second wave of feminism.
Yeah. Did she create Cosmopolitan?
Steinem was columnist, New York Magazine, co-founder of Miss Magazine.
Okay, Ms.
She's still Ms. She's still alive.
She was a liberal feminist that made a lot of sense and was highly intelligent. And her and Buckley's exchange was an amazing thing. But anyways, he has that, you know, that pedigree, which is intellectual pedigree that I share, and I think that's interesting.
Who is Gloria Steinem?
Guy, Larry Arm guy.
Did I say that? Who's Gloria Steinem? I don't think I said that. I think I asked if she was an attorney. She's 91. She traveled in 2018. She was traveling internationally as an organizer and lecturer and was a media spokeswoman on issues of equality. In 2015, alongside 2 Nobel Peace Laureates.
Oh, I wanted to ask you. So it looks like in California, there was a failed effort to codify or legislate against guys competing against girls in sports. Is that what I heard?
I think that's true. Yep.
That's amazing to me.
Hey,
and then I was going to ask, what are the games athletes saying? I know they're big muscles and big mouths.
They don't.
Silent.
Listen, they have a combined IQ of 75. There's one smart game.
Tell Frazier I'll give him $1 million to do a mangina thing and go take the prize money.
It's crazy the subjects they stay quiet on.
Matt, $1 million, dude. Call yourself a chick and go get the prize from him.
If you will give Matt $1 million if he goes and competes against the women. That would be awesome, and he has to win.
And you and I get the media rights.
That's awesome.
It's the least I can do for the games athletes.
Oh my goodness!
In the name of
my goodness,
equity.
Yeah, Colton. I was gonna say this, Colton. I was gonna say you're smarter than all the games athletes combined. You didn't let me. I didn't get it out. The smartest bunch of them by far. My goodness. Yeah, that's a man. Greg, you know, they not only in California did they shoot that one down, but they tried to pass a law. This is about 6 months ago to deport illegal immigrants. They wanted to cut, you know, we're a sanctuary state, and they wanted to, the Republicans in the state and the House were trying to get something passed to where they would give you to ICE if you were accused or charged of molesting children or raping children.
That got shot down?
That got shot down too. It was supposed to be automatic deportation and turned over to ICE if you raped or molested kids, and the Democrats unanimously voted against it. There was one lady, though, like a really hardcore liberal, who went out onto the floor of the House, and she says, "I fucking quit." And there was a mayor of some city up here, not Auburn, but he quit too, and he left in the middle of his mayorship. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm out. Fuck this, I'm gone." He left the state. I can't remember the name of the town. It's bizarro world.
Yeah, I think I can help people comprehend what's going on.
Please.
The need and the effort from the elected officials is to maintain power, and nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. And they're long past worrying about losing an election.
And meaning power by any means necessary, violence, lawsuits,
whatever it would take. Whatever it would take. They don't want to let go. This is what's so. This is why Elon Musk is hated. He's providing the tools that are going to sever power from its base. They're destroying the financial machinery by which money was illegally distributed. Because as they expose these things, they're undoing the mechanism by which the money was paid. So, no, it's not a bribe. It's just your wife, who's a halfwit, got a fucking giant grant to do bullshit with her friends. Okay? No one's being bribed. Your half-witted, good-looking wife just got $1 million to sit around with her friends and make the community better.
Right. I wish it was just $500,000. All the stories I hear are fucking.
Oh, it's beyond the pale.
They got so cavalier. Hey, what do you think about this thing in Wisconsin? Did you follow that? That basically.
Yeah, no, but I get it. It's pretty simple. They vote for their Supreme Court justices, and there was a hope to flip things around there.
And supposedly now that she's going to be in the Supreme Court, they'll rewrite the boundaries for the voting areas. I guess that's called gerrymandering, and they'll make it so that the Democrats can win more House seats in the U.S. House, U.S. Congress.
There will be an enormous legislative effort that they'll uphold, that will change the election results. As soon as possible, you want to do away with ID for voting.
When you said that you and Doug Wilson had was the word values, similar values.
Yeah.
And yet he's deeply religious, and you're not. Why do you think? How do you think that happens? Where if he's getting his from a book called the Bible, where do you think you got yours? Why do you think that just happens in humans? And I don't know that I'm making the assumption that he got his from the Bible.
I don't have easy answer for that, but I wonder if it's like this, Sevi. You remember I was talking about Mike's kids? They all like Bluey.
Yeah.
And my kids look at it like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And his kids are, by their very nature, behaved and I don't know. I don't want to sit here. Yeah, I'll just tell you, parents have all these things you want in kids. His kids are all those things. Okay. My kids are going to make an issue in each department. learning, cleaning, telling the truth, violence upon one another. They need a civilizing force, and they don't like Bluey.
Let me ask you this: did you go through some sort of change at some point? Like, did you realize, like, there were things that I did in my teenage years that I did without thinking. You know what I mean? Like, you get a 5-gallon bucket of paint, leave it out in the middle of the street, and you and your friends watch cars hit it and paint fly all over. Whereas now I would never do. Whereas now I would never do shit like that.
Right? Of course.
And I may have keyed someone's car as a young man, and now that's just utterly just insane to me. Like, why would you? That makes no sense.
If someone tells me their 13-year-old boy seems to be given to vandalism and pyromania,
yeah, that seems normal.
I don't think that he's necessarily penitentiary bound.
Right.
In fact, my counsel would be, given all other things, it's probably normal.
Yeah, like as a 13-year-old boy, it seems normal to me to want to set something on fire too.
Well, they all do it.
Right.
And when you find one that won't, it's kind of, well, that's wrong. You could kill someone, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Those are amazing human beings.
Whereas when at 13, I didn't even think about the consequences. I wasn't like no one even said to me, hey, this might be dangerous or this might kill someone. You're just like, hey, it would be cool to see this field catch on fire.
Yeah, my life was hugely impacted by wildfire, and I had friends and families whose lives were shattered by wildfire. And I figured that one out pre-teen. I wasn't, I was done setting fires.
What happened? Someone had their home burned down in your family, or someone actually died?
My junior high school, we had that Saugus to Malibu fire went right through the neighborhood, and my middle school was an evacuation spot. And I huddled together for hours after you should go home. And there were kids that I knew that were in classes of mine whose houses burned to the ground, their pets died. And it's hugely, hugely disruptive. You live at the Holiday Inn for 6 months in one room with 4 kids, and then there's a divorce and a pregnancy.
Hey, maybe it was you. Do you think it was you having kids changed your values?
Each kid I have changes me.
Yeah.
I've been changed 10 times.
That's interesting.
This new one's just like blowing my mind. I'm in this, look, she waved, she did it, It's great. Playing games in the mirror.
You think each one makes you more conservative or more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, the difference, like a family-owned business, you've got this, deserved or not, you've got this 400-year vision of the family-run business, right? And MBA's thinking Q1, Q2, 3. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that fucking idiot at Boeing that took the stock through the roof, and the very methods by which he accomplished that is why the planes are falling out of the sky. That's the problem. He articulated it before implementation in a book that was well received. He got rid of a bunch of really talented assholes that didn't care about anything except safety in airplanes. They didn't care about the stock price. He told the world he was going to get rid of them. He got rid of them. The really talented assholes that only cared about aviation and safety are gone. What is that going to do, Sebi?
The angry old white men, I think, is the way the article described them.
Really talented assholes. That's a quote.
Oh, okay.
Really talented assholes. And they had no concern for stock price. Only matters aviation and safety. I think with just with any inkling of decency, you would have read that then and gone, what the fuck?
And you're drawing a parallel to that to someone who has a big family, who has a like kind of a.
That's you have a longer term vision.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Before I had kids, I wouldn't have cared if there was anarchy on the planet. You know what I mean? As a homeless man, I gave two shits. Like, okay, so what if fucking everything breaks out into violence and chaos? Like, this will be an interesting adventure. And now I have kids, and I want the planet to be a safer place than when I.
For me, that you know, when it was just Blake, you have this Mad Max, you and your son on top of the dung heap, any world will do fine kind of view of things. The morning Colleen was born, I was like, oh, fuck, you know what? The societal order matters, and it's some other asshole's son is going to be a determinant in my daughter's, you know what I mean? I felt tied to the world somehow with a girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. That's
Oddly so for me.
Yeah.
I find it odd still.
Yeah. Mrs. Burns, because we're all made in the image of God, so regardless, those morals imprinted in your very DNA. Someone was explaining to me objective morality. I'm like, what is objective morality? And they said basically objective morality is when you don't, it's how you want to be treated. So basically, if you don't want to be murdered, then you don't murder other people. For some, and that is the definition of objective morality. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
My pet rats didn't fight. I'm not saying never, but they weren't like that. They wrestled a lot and played a lot, and they'd wrestle with you till you could tap the desk and wrestle, and they bite you 100 times, but never any. You know what I mean? Like playing with a dog. Same damn thing. Same damn thing. If you put something in the middle, there'd be a little free for all, but in noise and stuff. But no one's drawn blood, and everyone gets a little. If you took a piece of something and gave it to any of them, that one would run off in a corner and got it, and the rest looked like, oh fuck, he got it. There was an obvious sense of property and community, and it was interesting. It's baked in. You give the weak rat a little bit, and I'm not sure if you were starving it would be different, but you give a special treat to the weak rat, and the others will let him eat it.
Yeah.
And clamber for their piece, you know? And why? Are you at a disadvantage to go over and take it? Not really. I mean, you could, but they don't. They shared better than dogs.
God, dogs are crazy.
I had a dog, you put 2 bowls of food on the floor, his over here and his brother's over there. And my dog would not even eat his and just run right over to the other side and attack that dog. Then eat his food, then go back to the other bowl. Just a complete asshole. His name was Attila.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
The voter ID thing is nuts. Good morning, Joe. Jeremy, that's a universe where we could go to voting place. Say we are, let's say that Rachel over at your gym that we both know what she's voting. Oh, I thought that was going to be something else. It's amazing to me how much lawfare is still going on. You know, I finally fell down the rabbit hole. I know you and I had talked about it a lot, but right before I had Dale on last week, I fell down the Robert Mueller rabbit hole. And I ended up with this guy, Molesfed. He was a PhD professor at some university in Portugal. And basically he was the one that they tracked the rumor to that started the Russian collusion thing. You know who I'm talking about? John Mifsud Mueller. Is that Anyway, that is I used all liberal resources to look at it. So basically, I went over to PBS and I watched their hour-long documentary on the Russian collusion thing. And their hour-long documentary ends basically. I wonder if this is your take on it too. Robert Mueller, when he opened the investigation, was looking for Trump's collusion, basically getting Russian information to beat Hillary Clinton. And instead, he went on a fishing expedition and put 6 of Trump's friends in jail, but never found any evidence of Russian collusion. And then the movie ends. So then I'm like, how does it just end there? Like, what happened with the Russian collusion? And then I see, obviously, the things you and I talked about, where the DNC and Hillary Clinton Foundation spent $1 million to fabricate
the
Russian.
The Couey Perkins dude.
Yeah.
That actually approached Mueller, was it? And told him, you need to look at this. And we don't know whether he told him it was made up or not.
That guy was never found, by the way. He went missing in 2018. The guy that supposedly started the whole thing. They found his passport in an airport in Portugal, and no one's ever seen him since then, since 2018. And what's crazy is that the only thing Hillary Clinton had to do, she wasn't charged with starting the Russian dossier. She ended up having to pay $100,000 fine because she didn't report to the IRS that they spent $1 million making the fake Russian dossier. So the penalty is for not reporting it to the IRS how she spent that money, as opposed to doing something incredibly illegal. But what happened to him is horrible. And I used all liberal resources. Even CNN and Jake Tapper were like, hey man, they found fucking nothing. It's really, and you know who was in part of that case was this Judge Mossberg guy was also involved. It's really bad.
There's a journalist that's covered me favorably in the Post, and he's now got a book out focused on the bad deeds of Big Soda.
Yeah.
And when I was trying to guide him to the right moving pieces to check this stuff out, educate him with Russ Green, Russ and I, trying to help this journalist see things like Global Energy Balance Network and all these proxies that Soda would launch that would support bullshit claims. He told me that unless we had something on collusion, there was nothing's really going on right now.
Wow.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, the guy's name is Joseph Mifsud. He's the guy that started the whole rumor, and no one has seen him since 2018. He vanished.
And what was the rumor?
That he's been killed.
No.
The rumor was that he's the one that started the rumor to George, whatever the guy's is, Papadopoulos, that Trump was taking information from the Russians and using it to, beat Hillary Clinton. And the whole thing was fucking fabricated. So we got to talk to him. Basically, Mueller traced the rumor all the way back to him. And then they couldn't find him to interview him. And when they put, I watched the hearings when they put Mueller.
This is after they've already lied to the FISA court.
All that shit.
Yeah. So it's just a separate attempt, illegal attempt at changing the outcome of an election.
Yeah, the whole thing is it's so fucking bad. And so my theory is that and I was floating this past Dale, that basically they're gonna push for prosecution of the Clintons and everyone on this. But first, what they're doing is they're neutering all the three big legal teams in DC. That's why he's basically Trump saying, hey, you guys are having your security clearance pulled. You can't have any federal contracts. He's basically getting them completely out of the government. And then he's going to have, I think maybe Kash Patel's already filed something, some sort of RICO case against those guys. One big giant case. It's fucking horrible. And what's crazy is you can use all liberal media to put it together. That's what I tried to do so that I wouldn't have any bias. It's so bad. I mean, I know you've been telling me that for years, but
I don't miss any news when I read the New York Times.
Explain. What do you mean?
I can read the New York Times and I have a pretty clear sense of how that same story will be told when I go to the National Review.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a liar, blah, blah, blah. Can you tell me the lie? Oh, that's the lie. Well, that's actually true. What else you got? You know, I mean, you just read through this stuff and I don't believe that. That doesn't seem plausible. Look up, is this written by a chick? You look up and it's what a horrible thing to say, but I do that.
Right.
Sometimes there's some things, there's such a sophomoric sentiment that it's like some nice lady wrote this, because that's not how the world operates. It's a little girl that dots her eyes with a heart. There's the whole of liberalism is decidedly feminine.
You mean sort of like nurture is over all other.
Oh yeah.
Sympathy and nurturing over all other.
Mm-hmm. There's a difference in the way men and women operate, and it's important. In a world without women, men, we would have figured out horseback riding, brewing, spears, clubs, but there wouldn't be any houses. We'd be wearing animal skins in a state of perpetual warfare and drinking shit tons of beer. That'd be about all that would have been figured out.
The needle exchange program, always, when I think of it, that is a good example of what you're referencing. Feel sorry for people who are using dirty needles and you give them clean needles, and now you've just exacerbated the problem under kindness.
Well-intended, well-motivated actions that have the unfortunate propensity to make the problem worse, and to not be able to see that. Rent control. What's it do for poor people? It creates the slums they live in. That's an economic fact.
Yeah.
But I could talk rooms full of 10-year-old girls into supporting rent control in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Toxic.
There's a million. Toxic empathy. Perfect, Bernie. Yes. Stove writes on this brilliantly, by the way.
He does?
Yeah.
In the Blue Book?
No, in the collected essays, and there's a few anthologies of some of his stuff that are absolutely fascinating. Anton Garrett, Dr. Garrett at Cambridge, the physicist, astrophysicist, was telling me that the stove on men are smarter than women. That if you care to read the piece, what you see is that the curve, the distribution of women's intelligence, has the average woman smarter than the average man, and stupid guys stupider than any girl, and a few men smarter than any women. And you could have easily, looking at those curves, and draw them if I weren't too cold to stand up. But you could also look at that same reality, and I would use it to say that women are smarter than men.
Just as in an aggregate,
That's
As a
what you're doing. You're talking about a population,
as a cohort, yeah.
and to be offended by that is it's a sign of low intellectual horsepower.
What's a sign of that?
Say Jews suck at basketball and be all butthurt because you're a Jew and think you can play basketball. You know?
Oh, right.
Right? You
Is
tell me
that
Japanese are better math students than whatever the fuck we are. I'm not. I don't. You saying something a trend of a population doesn't say much about an individual.
right? Yeah, that's
But
fair.
But the point I'm making is that if I tell you that the average woman is smarter, randomly picked woman, average woman is smarter than the average man, I could use that to support the contention that women are smarter than men. And there's a big cohort of men that are a lot dumber than any such cohort of women, that too tells me that women are smarter than men. And the fact that some men are smarter than any women doesn't, you don't see anything there about individuals.
Right. But just so I understand the graphic of it, for the sake of this conversation, men hold the record on both ends of the curve. We're the dumbest and the smartest.
That's right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you can think of examples everywhere.
And in the middle, they're higher on the average. Your average,
yeah.
Take 5 men from anywhere, 5 women from anywhere, and the women are going to test smarter.
Yeah. That's funny because I can just think of examples everywhere.
Of course you can.
Right.
The difference that's marked between us is not our intelligence.
We drive drunk more, which makes us stupid. But when we do drive drunk, we drive better. You know what I mean?
The force, literally, with which I would muster to protect my family, is a thing that my wife can control.
Which is?
She just has that power.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of an example. Like, what is that force? Can you
be less furious about something? It happens.
Oh. So,
you ever had anyone try to talk you out of something and they're doing such a poor job of it, you just launched right with them sitting there?
Yeah, like just to be contrarian, just like
no, just like I've been listening for an hour now. Why I shouldn't do it? Okay, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah,
like when everyone tried to talk me out of pulling the plug on the geolocating plug on ESPN.
Yeah.
I've heard from my attorneys. I've heard from the games crew. I've heard from everyone. Everyone says it's a bad idea, right? Okay, I'll do it. Where is it? Show me. I'm going to pull the plug.
Specifically, that was like
those assholes participated in a little get together that included ESPN, the NCAA, the NCAA, a handful of beverage rock stars, and they all put together a piece, and that CrossFit hurt our buddy
Ogar?
Kevin Ogar.
Mm.
And what was ironic is I was funding Ogar's litigation. And that only happened because the people that hosted the event wouldn't release footage that I knew they had, because I was trying to improve the safety for everyone, because it was clear to me that the inventory behind the athlete was the cause of the problem. And it had nothing to do with the snatch itself. And the physics of that, or you have to have a good eye and look at it a lot, but it was clear what happened. In his bail, it hit that stack, came back at about a 45-degree angle and cut him in two damn near. And you can see one of the 45-pound plates just shoots out of the picture from the impact. Nothing should be anywhere near behind an athlete going overhead. Nothing. No things, nobody.
And just to be for people who don't understand what you were saying about the geolocator, we had a broadcasting deal with ESPN that would only broadcast to certain countries, and you're like, turn that off and send it out to everyone.
Put it out to the world.
Yeah, I remember that, dude. I remember poor Tony was so stressed out.
That sent a shot up so high up the ESPN, ABC, Disney thing. I got a call from Mickey Mouse himself. That got everyone's attention. Fuck them.
Susan Humphreys, part of BSI, great Rogan podcast. Man, Susan Humphreys is so good. Do you know who that is, Greg? She wrote the book Dissolving Illusions.
I don't think I do.
She's so good. It's the book. Haley read that book while she was pregnant with Avi, and that was why she didn't give any vaccines to any of the boys. But she was on Rogan, and I listened to the first 24 minutes, and it brought back so much. It reminded me.
It's all vaccine.
It's all vaccine, and talks about how they do the scam. And there was this one scam that they did with polio that I had forgotten that they also did with COVID. And with polio, they used to diagnose you in 24 hours with polio. You come in, they were like, okay, you have it or you don't. And they tell you within 24 hours. And then they switched it to after the vaccine came out, they switched it to a 30-day period. They saw you once, and then they saw you 30 days later, and the criteria for whether you had polio or not. And that right there cut the amount of polio in the country in half, something crazy like that. And do you remember when they did that with COVID also? Before, it was just like, if the PCR tests positive, you got it. And then it went to like, well, you have to have a cough, or you have to have a cough for a week straight. And they kept changing. But they would compare the stats without telling you that they changed the criteria for the positive diagnosis. And she goes through all in the first 24 minutes. She says so fucking much. And it's the exact same playbook they used with COVID. And she says the same thing that everyone said. She said she knew vaccines were bullshit, but she didn't want to touch the polio one because she still believed that one was like legit. And then as soon as she went down the rabbit hole, she's like, oh, fuck. Of course.
I found the other day, by kind of a delightful accident, bookmark in a book I was looking at years ago. And the numbers looked familiar, and it was some calculation by week, some totals, and I was struggling to remember what that was. But then the numbers I saw, I knew 23 to 64K in a week, and that was when I was literally regularly tracking the CDC's weekly flu report, influenza report. And I'd wait for that to come out Thursday or night or Friday morning and look again. And this is pre-COVID. And it took a long time to make sense of the numbers and how it worked. And it was funny because like the last week of the flu season, the fucking shit ton of people died, And like, in what sense? And then I had to study and learn that the flu season ends when the insurance companies no longer pay for vaccine or testing.
Wow.
It's like deer season. Doesn't mean it's over. It means we're not going to diagnose it anymore. And then you see these numbers. The number dead was like, I should go get the paper. I think it was 23 to 64,000 dead. And I'm like, wait, how the fuck is that? And it took a long time. And it was in between each week, I'm just reading. And that's how I knew that after every quarantine, you have race riots. I read it from the CDC. It's part of their literature.
I remember when you pointed that out to me. Yep.
It was part of my, is this Floyd 19? It was part of that tweet.
Yeah.
And what we have, race riots after that. So instead of being hailed as the Nostradamus, I'm just a racist. But I think I'd rather be a racist than Nostradamus. But the problem in the numbers in the calculation is, I was like, well, the thing is there's 64,000 dead people for sure. But they have tested and know of 23 without equivocation. And the problem is that when someone is in, say, hooked up they're in their dialysis treatment center, and they infarct, they have a heart attack, which is so very common there. It's horribly stressful, physiologically, psychologically. It's painful. It's not a fun process to sit there and go through your dialysis. But you have a heart attack there, and you end up semi-conscious in the hospital somewhere on a respirator, and all of a sudden you're snotty and sneezy and coughy. They flu test you, and the next day you die. Died of the flu or not. And if that one, you go, no, that's not the flu. Okay, well, I'll give you another one and pretty soon anyone will find a case where, man, I don't know, died from. It's tough. It's not an easy thing to do. Okay. And that was the lesson I learned on the flu. So 6 months later, they got this COVID thing, and they've got with laser precision in a test that doesn't work and is on an emergency provisional use that never satisfied the 2x2 matrix on that thing. It was never turned into science, the test.
And the creator of it said that it was
the emergency provisional use expired because they didn't comply with what was required to make it a scientific test. And what they do didn't matter, kept using it, still the fucking gold standard. The problem we had in testing is that the thing was never sequenced, and the reason it wasn't sequenced is there was no need to sequence. It was made. It was made, and the efforts to cover that up are mind-blowing. And common sense people figured this out in comments on YouTube. That was the place that they were never able to say. You could put up on an innocuous video on the nature of PCR. I find biotech people spilling the beans, telling exactly what's at play. The guy says, this has never been sequenced. The guy goes, here, it has been sequenced. Study says, look, sequencing of, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. And the guy goes, here, I'll give you some more. Look, they all claim the same thing. Never was it done. What do you mean it wasn't done? Well, here's what you have to do to sequence things. First of all, we have to make sure that before we lyse anything and start spinning and doing and looking at DNA, before that, we need to know that we have some consistency in the particles of what we're looking at. You don't just lyse a bucket of snot and tell me what was in it. And that usually involves centrifugation, some electrophoresis. You want to do something, and then some electron microscopy, and it's the hardest part of the whole fucking thing to make sure that you finally are going to cut something and examine its DNA, and you know that you don't have fungus, bacteria, virus all in that in a bucket of snot. And that work was never done. And there were guys that called bullshit on it.
Pat, I'll send you links to the people ripping her to pieces. Yeah, send it to me, Pat. I want to see it. Send it to me. I want to see it. And the reason why it matters is because I think a lot of people are being injured. I think a lot of people are being injured and suffering consequences of taking drugs that are hurting them more than helping them. Ivan, today Boeing CEO is scheduled to testify in front of the U.S. Senate to talk about what's been achieved so far by the company's in efforts of restoring safety, quality, and trust. Did you see the interview with the astronauts after they came back? It was a really nice. I thought it was a nice interview. Did you like those two?
She reminded me of Kamala Harris.
I
figured she was a DEI astronaut. I don't know.
Because of her.
About the rock we all live in, and we're going to harness the technology that we learn from space so that we can all live on this planet. And I was like, we're going to teach this world to sing in 3-part harmony.
So when she said,
I expect more from an astronaut.
Okay. What did you think about him?
I thought he was embarrassed by her.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But that could be me projecting.
Yeah.
You know when someone's talking and so you look down and it's like, you know, we'd all wish Brian Mulvaney would shut the fuck up. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Dave looks at you, looks at me, I'm like, I know. So anyways, Brian.
Who was it? Brett Baer? Who interviewed them? I forget.
I forget the guy's name too, but I like him.
It was interesting.
You got to sit in the capsule.
The part that was tripping me out is when he opened with some strong questions, basically like, "Hey, are you pissed off at Boeing? Like, do you think they shit the bed? Are you pissed off that you got left up there? Did you feel, betrayed?" And I was watching their faces, and they all said, "No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. We learned a lot from this, and no one's to blame." And the male astronaut even said, "Hey, part of it's even my fault. There's questions I should have asked before departure that I didn't ask." And
is that Bill Hemmer?
The astronaut?
No, the guy that did the interview.
Let me see if I see his face. He didn't let him off easy. It wasn't a kumbaya. Oh, is that who it was? Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, I thought I saw him doing a watch commercial when he got onto the capsule.
Oh, like this kind of watch?
Yeah.
Oh, I could see.
He sits down and pulls the sleeve up, and there it is. And I'm like, did he just get a free watch?
Hey, what do you think of Will Kane? That's my least favorite show. I don't dislike him or anything, but that's my least favorite show on Fox.
Oh.
Actually, I don't like the second part of Gutfeld either after the monologue either. I don't really care what those people say on the couch. I like the beginning of all their shows, but when they start offering their opinion, I kind of start tuning out. You do that? I just want, just tell me what happened.
Some of those people, I just like the way their minds work. I'm not always in perfect agreement, but I enjoy Gutfeld's thinking. I think he's intelligent.
Oh, he's awesome.
I think Jesse Waters has the instincts to kind of see things for what they are without even being super smart.
I love him.
Right?
Yeah, I love him.
Like, yeah, you got it, pal.
Did you see them all interview Elon yesterday?
No.
So basically, Elon came on the show, and the Judge Judy character was the hosting it. Like, she was in charge, and then she would point at Gutfeld and go ahead and ask your questions. And then she'd point at Jesse, and then they would all take turns asking Elon questions. And what was interesting is basically the takeaway from there is that Elon doesn't watch Fox. Because at one point, Elon says, Gutfeld said, "Hey, I'm, Gutfeld," and or whatever. What's his first name? Jeff?
Greg.
I'm Greg. And Elon goes, "Oh yeah, I've seen your show. Like I've seen your show once or twice or something like that." And it was a trip. And Gutfeld's like, "Hey, when are you going to come on?" He's like, "Okay, I'll come on sometime." And then Jesse comes on and he's like, "Hey, I'm Jesse." And Elon's, "Hi, Jesse." It was a trip because I would have thought Elon would have known them. He's never been on their shows.
Sevi, my guess would be that Trump watches between 8 and 12 hours of TV every day.
Yeah.
And that Elon doesn't do that in a year. Dude, he's CEO of Tesla, CEO of SpaceX, CEO of the Boring Company. He's like,
right, Twitter.
It's yeah, and X. Look, imagine how busy he is. And the 10 kids.
Sevi, I don't like him, Greg. No, listen, I did not say I don't like him. I said I don't like the second part of their shows. I just want to hear the facts. I said I like Greg Gutfeld. I don't like it when they go around and let people talk on the couch. Hi, Miss Heidi. I like the way he thinks. Sevi, oh yeah, I like him too. Yeah, listen, fuck you. All right. Val Kilmer didn't really die. They just moved. He didn't really die. CIA operation.
He was just a couple years behind me in high school, same school.
Oh,
And
do you remember seeing him around on campus?
Oh yeah, yeah. Everyone knew who he was. I think he was valedictorian his year.
He's been fucked up for a while, right?
Yeah.
What happened to him? Did he get Parkinson's or something?
No, cancer. Throat cancer.
Okay. And he eventually died of pneumonia. Multiple rounds of intense chemotherapy and radiation and tracheotomy. I got a great story for you. This one's crazy.
I have a couple for you too.
Anything that's usable for the air?
No.
Oh. Mine's not that good. New San Francisco program backed by Newsom will issue speeding tickets based on income. Have you fucking seen this? Have you fucking seen this? This launched yesterday, dude.
That's like the B.
This isn't even April Fool's shit. San Francisco launched a new program backed by Democratic Newsom. Speeding safety pilot program was signed by Newsom in October of 2023. Violations from speeding range from $50 to $500, but individuals with household incomes at or below 200% of the federal poverty level are eligible for 50% discount. They were saying that if you're, I don't know how they know, but if you get a ticket and you're homeless, your ticket's 80% off. What? I don't understand the logic in that. Is that just straight class system? Like, what the fuck is going on? How did anyone
there's got to be just a crazy number of judges that would see that for exactly what it is, and stop it.
This is social credit score?
I can't administer civil or criminal penalties. You know, you don't get a 5-year term because you're rich.
They're punishing people for being successful. It's like the exact opposite of the way you want to reward people. Like, I understand if you like charge poor people more, you know what I mean? Then be like, fuck, I better make more money. Like, why would you punish someone for being successful and working hard? That's what it equates to. You're innovative, successful, work hard. This shit is fucking nuts. I sent this to a bunch of my liberal friends. I wonder if they get it. Or do they straight go to the, like what we were talking about in the beginning of the show, that this is the feminine side? No, I feel sorry for them.
What's your mom say to that?
I don't know. I sent this to my mom. I didn't get a response.
I mean, she's a lawyer.
The program is intended to benefit.
How about if you're okay with that, you should be okay with purchasing your way out of a criminal offense, like McAfee did in Belize.
You just pay that. You killed someone, you pay the money, and you get bailed, and you can leave the country.
His neighbor poisoned his dog, and so he executed him. And then they posted a bail big enough that when you leave, it's considered done.
Sevi, why do the richest people in the world get to use loopholes to pay less taxes than me? Hey, listen, let's say that is true, which it's not true.
Pat,
why did two wrongs make a right?
What world do you live in, Pat? What do you mean use loopholes to pay less taxes than you? I use all the loopholes, and I think it could be that my tax burden exceeds your life earnings.
I think the biggest taxpayer in the country is Elon Musk. I think he's the highest. He paid more taxes last year than anyone else in the country.
The left thinks that taking a marginal tax rate on the highest incomes from just make up numbers. They think that if you take it conceivably from 70 to 30%, that you're taking money from poor people. That by Elon keeping more of his money, that's a burden for poor people who aren't paying taxes.
Less money to send to the Taliban.
Most of what's done with my tax money is shameful.
Correct.
Some of it's essential.
Okay.
That percentage has probably gotten where it was 80-20.
I love San Francisco. Me too. The cities where blacks and browns terrorize people while not getting punished for it. We live in a jungle. Yeah, I mean, California is like that. There's definitely a two-tier. There's definitely a two-tier. You know, I don't know what it is. Judicial system, punishment system. They're trying to codify that in the UK. You know that, right? They're trying to make it so that if you're a minority, they basically have everything except white men, and they would reduce your crimes. They got women and poor people and what do you think of Chad Bianco, Sevi? I like him. I like him a lot.
Who is that?
That's the sheriff who's running for governor.
Mm.
I like him a lot. I think he's cool. I think he's sincere. Did you see the story where Bill Maher went to the White House?
I did. With Kid Rock.
Yeah, and Dana White.
Dana White.
They cruised around the White House.
You know what's funny? It would. I sound like an asshole.
You know, Bill Maher's never been invited to the White House. That was his first time ever being invited to the White House.
Do you know if I were Bill Maher and I got invited to the White House with Kid Rock and Dana White, I'd be butthurt.
Seriously? Why? Who'd you want to be invited there with? Like Putin?
Yeah, James Hansen. I don't know.
What, you don't respect those guys, Dana White?
Well, I think Bill Maher is a semi-serious thinker.
Kid Rock's 54. And you don't think that about Dana or Kid Rock?
No, I do not. I would think if Dana White wrote an autobiography, reading it would be a painful experience for me.
Whose autobiography?
I'm not saying he's not a nice guy and hasn't done well, and you know what I mean. I don't see him as a thinker.
What do you see him as? What is there a bucket you'd put him in?
He's the UFC guy.
Yeah,
and that's a thing to behold. I don't think that changes the way.
I see him as a brave and courageous man who sticks to his.
That was weird. Say it again.
I see him as a brave and courageous man who sticks to his values, and as he's gotten more and more power and money and wealth, he feels a moral obligation to do the right thing. And he's done it like very few other people have. You know what I mean by that? Like the fuck you to COVID, the fuck you to the athletes who try to take his fucking company hostage. One of his athletes recently said that, was saying some crazy disparaging shit about the Jews. I like Bryce Mitchell. And they're like, hey, are you going to kick him out of the fucking sport? And he's like, no, he's a piece of shit. I hope he gets his ass beat. But dude, I believe in freedom of speech above everything else.
That's I think his job is really easy, and I admire the way he does it.
And he swims with fucking scumbags. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean the fighters. I mean all the people in the entertainment industry. I mean, he's owned by WME. That's just fucking libtard central.
That's who owns.
Yeah, Ari Emanuel's his fucking boss.
He owns the UFC now.
Yeah. And yet Dana can just hangs up there and swings his dick around and fucking goes to the Trump rallies.
Yeah, that's part of the show, though. And
I agree. But I think he lives it. You know what I mean? Let's go here then. What do you think about Hulk Hogan being at the convention?
Listen, when Dana White, when they put the athletes in Reebok uniforms,
yeah,
there was an element of the local sponsorship that lent credibility to the whole affair for me.
Right, I remember that. Yep.
And so I don't know. I don't care enough to weigh in.
Okay.
The UFC was way more interesting to me when I had fighters on the card.
Right.
And I didn't know to what extent that was the interest.
When people were making fun of the Republicans when they when Hulk Hogan was at the Republican National Convention, and you see him hanging out with Trump. But on the other hand, you and I know that he's close buddies with who's the really smart guy in San Francisco, the PayPal guy,
Peter.
But it's not like, Hogan keeps good company.
And he's buddies with Bubba the Love Sponge. Who I also like. Do you mean like listen, like I like Bubba the Love Sponge, Dana White, and Hulk Hogan. I don't want to read their books. I had such a good time at Nobu the other night. I bought his book.
Whose?
Nobu's.
Oh.
Yeah, I wish I could take it back, trade it in for a dumpling or something.
It's his autobiography?
Yeah.
Do they sell it there?
Yeah.
Did you? And you flipped through it and you didn't?
I wanted to look at it, and I didn't want to have him climb up on the shelf and give me. So I said, "Hey, throw in one of those books. Let's put that on there."
And then you got home and you flipped through it and you weren't too impressed.
I don't know why I'm surprised when a brilliant sculptor has nothing to say.
Oh.
When a great musician talks, and I wish they hadn't. They shouldn't even try. You know what I mean? That's not your thing.
Or how about you meet a great actor and you realize he's not acting? That's just who he is. Like you meet him in person, he's the same guy that was on the screen.
So is one of Val Kilmer's co-stars in, what was it, Doc Holliday? Was that what he did?
I think he was in Doc Holliday.
Yeah, he was Doc Holliday, I think. Well, the guy says, I never met Val Kilmer, not fucking once. Didn't shake his hand, didn't talk to him. He goes, I hung out with Doc Holliday for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
He goes, I have no idea what he's like. In the most private moments, he wouldn't get out of character. It's pretty funny, huh?
Yeah. God, that'd
get old fast, huh?
Yeah, or you'd think you'd drive yourself crazy. Wasn't the guy who played Abraham Lincoln did that too? What's his name?
Yeah, I think so. Hey, it was amazing. The poor bastard croaks yesterday, and the number of shitty things that famous directors said about him is pretty incredible.
Oh, you mean after he died?
Yeah, no, just the word known, like Ron Howard, and the people that as long as I live, I hope to never work with this man again. You know, there was a, like, you don't think of Ron Howard talking shit about people, right?
No.
You know what I mean? He's still
Yeah.
open to me, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at did he just say Bon Voyage? Remembering Val Kilmer, Best Actor. Howard 71 directed Kilmer in 86 Willow. What did he say? Oh God, they made oh shit. Ron Howard he made the movie The Doors? Did you like that movie?
I didn't see it, but I'd like to now because I guess the guys surviving in The Doors said he sounded exactly like Jim Morrison.
God, that movie was so good. I can't find what he says negative about him. The other guy who died 30 years ago was a pain in the ass too, right? Marlon Brando. People didn't have a lot of nice things to say about him either, right?
Yeah.
That was before my day. Was he huge? Was he like Michael Jackson huge?
Who?
His star, Marlon Brando? Yeah.
Well, in the film world, he was the guy.
He was the guy.
I mean, I think after The Godfather, I think he was widely regarded as the best actor living.
Throw some cotton in his mouth and
he did it. That was very well done. In the opening scene, you're kind of there. It is that we're watching Best Picture, you know.
Val Kilmer's family took Kevin Spacey, and when they were young actors, Kilmer and Spacey had a big falling out. Probably,
yeah.
Kevin probably tried to butt fuck him.
I went to high school with him too.
Oh no shit!
And we none of them. But I was friends with Stephanie Kramer, another actress. This guy Tremonti, I think his name was the drama teacher at Chatsworth High, and man, his kids became famous actors. Several. I think Kevin Spacey was in Tremonti's program at Chatsworth. I know Val Kilmer was, and I know Stephanie Kramer was.
Oh, Stephanie Kramer was the chick in the TV show Hunter?
Yeah.
I used to love that show as a kid.
I hadn't heard anything about her, and Jimmy says,
Jordan,
I'm going to be doing Stephanie Kramer's hair and makeup today. And I said, ask her if I know her. And I got this note back, you idiot, you know? Apparently so. It's weird. I don't know if I'm just not watching, but I don't think of that there's any more famous actors, like big actors. Like they seem to have all gone. Like I don't know any. I don't know. I don't know any current. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know anyone? Like, I don't know. Like, is there a Tom Cruise anymore? Or like, I don't know. Are there any famous? Yeah.
There are. It's just that I'm not paying attention.
That's right.
I don't even know anyone who goes to the movies.
Like Jared Leto is fucking talented, right?
Yeah, but he's not huge, is he? He is?
I think he got an Academy Award.
I don't know anyone who watches that shit either anymore. Don't you remember as a kid when that was on, it was like the streets used to be quiet, Greg, when that show was on. Do you remember that? Like
yeah, this is it's the juvenilization of the entire entertainment industry. Like adults don't buy albums anymore. You know what I mean? Grown-ups aren't buying music.
Right.
It's just kids.
I mean, it really was like that. If the Academy Awards or the Grammys were on, you went to like McDonald's and fucking it was empty. The streets were quiet. Everyone's at home watching that shit. It was like the Super Bowl.
The biggest thing in entertainment has an audience of 12-year-old girls and 45-year-old homosexual men.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, that sounds right.
look at that. I mean, you just look at the crowd. Like, whoa, I'd stand on like a sore fucking thumb.
I wonder
Like
who
a
won.
dude at the park watching kids without one there. You know?
Best picture winners by year. Let me see if you even know any of these movies. And you know a lot of shit. I won't know any of them.
No, I'm doing a pretty good job of not following entertainment industry. I told you I was jealous that Greg Gutfield didn't know who Steph Curry was.
Yep.
And I was like,
I can't even find the fucking list on the wiki page. Academy Best Picture. Where the fuck is the list?
think of the list of things you could put together that would be better with time spent than following celebrity gossip.
Oh God, they have in I forgot about this. They have diversity standards. You can't even be nominated anymore for an Academy Award unless you have a certain amount of gay people, pedophiles. That's the plus. Cognitive or physical disabilities. You have to have people on the autism spectrum. You have to have people deaf or hard of hearing. Holy shit. Wow. What a fucking
We're watching
mess.
an industry commit suicide.
I can't remember the last time I watched a movie that I liked. I watched a Mark Wahlberg movie the other day. It was horrible. It was he was just a regular guy who like worked at a bar or something or worked at an airport or something, and they asked him to be a CIA agent. It was horrible. It had Halle Berry in it. It was unfucking watchable. There's a movie called Honora. Have you ever heard of that movie?
I have not.
It won Best Picture last year. Oppenheimer, the year before that, I've heard of that.
Yep.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Never heard of that. That was 2020. Another film called Coda. You heard of that movie?
Nope.
Yeah. Nomadland. You heard of that? That one in 2020. I never heard of any of these movies. Not even the nominees, nothing. Honora. I don't even recognize the actors' names. Alex Coco, Samantha Kwan, and Sean Baker. Oh, no, those are the producers.
Hey, I'm going to go test drive a forklift, which is a hilarious concept even.
Are you getting one?
Yeah.
For where?
I got this new warehouse.
Okay.
It's cool as shit. We own it. You know, it's a complex, looks like a storage units, but they're big. It's 4,000 square feet.
Is it in Prescott?
No, it's here in Phoenix. And but I think it has 25 or 30 foot ceilings. And I don't want to fill it with shit 4 feet high and be done. And so I'm going to get racks and a forklift. And we're going to palletize all those crates we have.
Have you ever driven a forklift?
No, but we had some giant loader that was sitting at the house in Wyoming. And Snaz went on YouTube and took a lesson in how to operate it and then got on it and fucking made it do. It was cool as shit.
Yeah.
I admired that.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, when do you get your car? When do you get your Tesla?
I don't know, but here's the skinny on it. Since 2017, when I paid for it, the claim was then it was going to be out in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the 2020 from this was in 2017. And it didn't materialize, but the Tesla was giving indication that it was coming this year, each year since. But what happened recently that's different is they've they've registered the car with the federal government as a 2026 model year. And what Car and Driver and others say is that forces a release in October. That if you have a model year 2026 and the car is not ready for October, November, December of 25,
Yeah.
you'll lose half the sales, and you're going to have people waiting for the next model year. It would be a fatal move. And so at the point you say with the government, we're going to have a 2026 model year, that obligates a 2025 October-ish release.
And then Tesla's done that with that rocket ship they made.
We've got it. It looks like the thing's coming out in October.
Do they communicate with you?
No, but I asked Christy and she went to my account, and you're paid, and you're going to get to when it shoots flames out its ass or whatever the thing's fucking deal was.
So they don't send you an email like once a month with updates?
I haven't, no, but you know what? They might be sending stuff to Greg at CrossFit.com.
Right. CrossFit, tomorrow's headlines, health and fitness magnet dies in tragic forklift accident.
Yeah. They said, you want the 3-wheeled one or the 4? And I said, I don't know. And then there was like propane, gas, diesel.
Yeah.
It was great. So I was being driven through this little menu driven thing. And it was, are your loads 2,000 to 4,000, 4,000 to 6,000, or 6,000 to 8,000 pounds? And I'm like 65 pounds, And so that I get the light one there, and any off-road use. And I'm like, fuck no, right? Indoor, outdoor, indoor only. Yeah. Please, right? Yeah. It comes down to the electric ones are a fraction of the maintenance of even the propane ones. So it looks like I'm getting an electric forklift. Oh. And they also say that if you keep the lift to 15 feet and under, the complexity, insurance, safety, it's a dramatically different thing. So I think we're going to do 15-foot racks.
I can't wait to see it. It sounds like it's so fun to drive.
I would think so.
Yeah. Jason Miller, 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds would be fun.
Oh, that thing.
It's going to be a cool car.
Can you imagine how little interest I have in going 300 miles an hour?
Yeah. It's amazing how pro-electric the right-wing crowd is now. Listen, no one's pro-electric except the left, dude. No one. And how anti-electric the left is. Dude, listen, the right is just do whatever you want, Pat. You're missing it. The right doesn't care. You can run your car on farts.
Our Tesla pros, I've had them all, right?
The Teslas, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not an ideal car for hot or cold. Our poor Tesla here was fucking. I told Maggie, move it away from the house, just because the noise it was making, trying to keep itself cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to burst into flame.
Coach, forget the forklift, get the robot thing Sigourney Weaver used in Aliens. Good for moving boxes and fighting aliens. Yeah, thank you, Clock. No one's pro-electric, but we're having fun watching climate change whack jobs attacking the leading EV manufacturer in the United States. I mean, it is so fun.
True that, Clock.
Hey, I've watched a few of the videos that people make where they go to these Tesla protests. And it is truly a congregation of the mentally ill. It's like every correlate, the fucking masks, the obesity, the piercings, the hair dye, There's not one fucking normal. The men whose shoulders are narrower than their hips. I mean, it's wild.
It is.
It's fucking a freak show.
Sebi, I went to the lizard store with Rhett.
Yeah.
To get some roaches for his pet dinosaur. And I'm telling you, man, that crowd, I could pick lizard people out of from a Comic-Con crowd.
Right.
Any other weird thing.
Girls who are into reptiles is a weird thing for me.
Yeah, with a bone in her nose and a black widow tattooed on her face and shit, and green hair.
Hey, I see this every day in Santa Cruz. That's on the back of a pickup truck. Sell your Tesla. Every day I leave the house, there's someone like there's people with like just on handwritten paper. I bought this before 2020 or something. It's stuck on the side of their window. Every day I go out in Santa Cruz, I see someone like
He's dismantling the apparatus by which the left was funneling money illegally. He's ending the party, and he'll be hated for that. And the people that are hating on Tesla, they don't even know why. But they do understand they've been told to. Do you get that?
Yeah, totally.
They've been told to do it, so they will.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that you can convince people that they need to dress up in black and cover their faces and beat innocent people up to fight fascism. And we're going to call it anti-fascist, Antifa.
So
that sounds good. I don't like fascism. Fuck yeah, let me have the hood in the club. That's like joining the Klan to fight racism. They just named it long. They should have called it the Anti-Racism Brigade.
Well,
and the lynching of blacks would be equality affirming healthcare.
Anything you want.
Yeah, give it a name.
My grandpa refused a German or Japanese card to the day he died as a World War II vet.
I went with a buddy pulled into a gas station in the middle of nowhere, Alabama, and there was a guy with glasses sitting at the counter. And I don't even know how it came up. He said he'd rather die than be in one of those fucking cars. He goes, those people starved me to death. I got a cricket and a tablespoon of rice every day. And when I came back home, I only weighed 92 pounds and I lost my vision. That's why. And then he was just sitting there at a little store with a single gas pump, living it like it was yesterday, man, in 1980. I told my buddy, I don't know how you drive that thing, dude. Look what they did to this guy.
Once again, Pat, dude, you're reading into shit wrong. It's funny that Greg doesn't understand that if you fire 100,000 people with no due diligence and then celebrate it on stage with the chainsaw, they're going to get really mad. Oh, we understand. We understand. We also understand that none of them went to work in the last 4 years. That 6% of the federal workforce actually went to work, and they were all janitors and security guards.
Pat, I would have been okay at firing everyone whose last name started with an A, a C, an E, a G. You see what I'm doing? I'm skipping letters. I'd be all for that.
That's how bad. That's how corrupt it is. Yeah. That's how corrupt it is. Yeah.
The worst case scenario is the status quo. Worst case scenario is the status quo. I like when Stuart Varney was asking, he couldn't figure out, he wasn't sure if Yellen was stupid or faking it about the inflation that was coming down the tracks. Pre-inflation. What we've been through economically was predicted by all who opposed the activity. Same at the border. As the floodgates were opened, the burden was anticipated by all that opposed it. And by the way, the Honorable Eric Adams got his case dismissed with prejudice. That was one of the most abusive things I've ever witnessed.
What they did to him?
Yes. I'm not even a fan of the guy.
Yeah.
They made me a fan of him.
Right.
I didn't like him. I don't think he's very smart. I wonder what kind of cop he made. Just wonder, makes me wonder. Then he goes down to El Paso and tells Biden, you got to do something about the border. It's crushing us here in New York. And what happens? He gets indicted.
Yeah, Pat, you're so off base. Pat, I want to tell you a story. I was at this park by my house. Greg knows it. It's the you know where the soccer fields are in downtown Santa Cruz, over there by the wharf. Greg, you know the soccer field?
Yeah.
So I was there with my kids. The parking lot holds about 100 cars. I was the only person there. I was with my kids there. We were running sprints on the field, and a pickup truck pulls up, and it's got 3 guys in the back and 2 guys in the front, and it's full. The back's full of bikes, and they jump out, and they're all clearly like homeless guys or drug addicts, and they start laying all the bikes out in the parking lot. There's probably like 15 bikes, and they proceed to start cutting the locks off, and I hear them laughing and giggling about all these bikes they've stolen. And not even a half a block away, there's a police station. And so I go over there and I walk into the police station. I said, hey, there's some guys who've clearly stolen 20 bikes, and they're just in the parking lot right next door in the park, cutting the locks off of all the bikes. First of all, it took them 10 minutes. I was looking in the glass window of the police station. It took them 10 minutes before they fucking acknowledged me. There were 2 cops and a dispatcher, and they're just laughing and giggling. And finally they looked at me like, what do you want? And then I told them, and they were fucking assholes to me and rolled their eyes and said, yeah, okay, thank you. Not, we'll go over there. I go back over there, keep playing with my kids for another hour. Cops never show up. The guys end up driving away. They take half the bikes with them and leave the other half fucking just in the fucking parking lot. Like, hey, dude, that's every fucking experience with fucking government employees, dude. That's 90. That, like, go to the fucking DMV. You're telling me that the DMV has to have a line out the door that's 4 hours long for us, dude? I don't know how fucking stupid you are, but it's mind boggling to me. Just use your own personal stories, dude. It's a complete shit show.
Okay, I gotta run, Sevi. I love you.
All right, love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Rambler, Sevi, you saw? I saw a homeless guy fucking steal a bike off an Asian lady. I fucking chased the fucking homeless guy. When I called the cops while I chased the homeless guy for fucking 10 minutes into a fucking park. And when the fucking cops got there, they told me, they're like, hey, just so you know, if you would have fucking knocked him off the bike, we would have pressed charges on you. And it's funny. It's funny just to add this in the thing that you people make fun of me for calling the cops. In any given year, I can't think of a year in the last 10 years where I didn't chase a fucking bad guy. And what's funny is every time I chase a bad guy, no one else ever does. They just sit there, which makes me think that fucking the majority of people are just fucking pussies. Like, like the someone getting beat up, and you just drive by in your car, don't do shit. No one's ever helped me in any of those incidences. Not one person. About 10 years ago, I called the police for a baby locked in a hot car. The cop showed up and says, "What do you want me to do about it?" Holy shit. I know. How much easier would it be for him just to say thank you? Hey, thanks for calling. No, buddy, you're the one who's crying, Pat. No one's crying here except for you. You're the one who's crying. He's a fucking Elon's a superhero, and yeah, everyone's in self-preservation mode. That was a good show with Greg. I want to go over and listen to the Chris Cooper podcast. I wonder if I wonder what Chris Cooper thinks about Wodify. I wonder if he loves Wodify. Do Two Brain businesses use Wodify? Where's my Wodify notes? Do a lot of affiliates use it? Does anyone in here use it? Oh, you can book it. Oh, you can listen. Jesus Christ. You can book a demo. Oh, we have an affiliate link. I don't like affiliate links. Wodify.com/Sevon. God, I can't stand affiliate links. Grow your gym for just $79 with the #1 gym management software. Oh, I guess jiu-jitsu gyms use it too. Do they do podcast management softwares? Oh, Mayhem uses them. We used other platforms before Wodify, but nothing compares to the comprehensive tools Wodify offers. Our membership and revenue have skyrocketed. Rich Froning. They're Rich Froning people. Anyway, you can get a demo. You have a gym. Tell them Sevon sent you. My gym used Wodify. Used? They don't use it anymore? Two Brain has a hard on for Kilo. I think Kilo's different, right? I think Kilo is the website and Wodify is um and Wodify is management, gym management. Because I want to say that somehow um I want to say that somehow Susie uses both. Sevon, Mr. Lang. We can't hire trainees to be in the military because they're drug addicts and have fucked up hormones. Elon Musk is a ketamine addict, depression victim, and you want him in charge of. Why, buddy? Why? Why do I click on your posts? What's wrong with me? Do you think that it's a sign that I engage with you that I hate myself? I'm starting to wonder. Yeah, Pat's called in a bunch of times. Pat's been on the show. Pat's a good dude. All right. Don't get a speeding ticket in San Francisco. If you're wealthy, you get fucked. I enjoyed Brandon yesterday. That was cool. Did you guys like that? He's cool. He's really cool. Oh, damn. I had this cool video to show you. It's been pulled down off of Instagram. It was fucked up. It showed this guy yelling at a Tesla driver. It was some libtard with yelling at a Tesla driver, like tell him to fuck off and all this shit. And then he fucking steps on the gas and turns the corner and hits a fucking little kid. It was pretty brutal. I guess that was taken down. All right. I'm kind of dreading this week. I got a long drive ahead of me. I'm tripping. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to Ashland, Oregon with family. I'm going with my mom and my wife and my kids.
I ain't gonna lie, yeah, I've sold some lies. Had too much fun on some Saturday nights. Pride gets the best of my hard head sometimes. My straight and narrows got swerves. Grace isn't what I deserve. No, I ain't a Sunday morning choir. I'm a dirty boots in the back pew backslider. No, I ain't easy to love, more washed in the whiskey than washed in the blood. Lord knows that I ain't no saint. I'm just the kind of sinner that Jesus saves. Just the kind of sinner that Jesus saves.
No, you know what's crazy? I haven't gotten any strikes from that. I haven't gotten any. Holy shit! Look at your profile pic. You got going full swastika. Are you gonna play the song on repeat for the car drive? No, I just have it in my links in my show notes. Later, Ivan. Hey, damn it! I meant to read this with Greg on the show. I know I told you guys this before, but I wanted to read you guys the exact story. The note that I got in my DMs. Okay, ready for this? Slipknot for the win. I run an affiliate out of my garage, CrossFit. I don't know what that is. I was coaching the 6:30 p.m. class. CrossFit Econos in Georgia. I was coaching the 6:30 p.m. class last night. We had the garage door open with Concept 2 bikes, Echo bikes, and ski ergs outside. Box, jump ropes, and climbing going on inside. So here I am coaching these 9 athletes, and I see the neighbor kid, Henry, chasing his dog down the street. He's like 11 and was wearing a cast and is on his right wrist. He was in trouble, and these dogs had no interest in returning to their fence yard. Oh, I read it wrong the first time. I quickly grabbed a rope while coaching and made a slip knot in an attempt and ran down one of the dogs and got it under control. The other dog followed, no problem. I literally just learned the slip knot from you the day before. He had just learned the slip knot from watching the show. Now listen, slip knot. We've gone over this before. You make a gun, right? You make a gun like this, and then you make an X on your hand. See it? And then you make what this thing's called a bite. And then you stick it under here, under the X, the bite, and you pull. In the South, they call this a noose. In California, they call it a slip knot. Look at that. Saved a fucking. Go ahead, David, write it. Go ahead. Cool story. Go ahead, write it. Tonight, there she is, Catherine Shear. David, that image that made me have a crush on Ed Norton. Wow. All right. Wow. That's very vulnerable. You made yourself. Tonight, 5 p.m. Is it at 5 p.m.? Listen, guys. Let me see. YouTube. I'm going to show you the. The perfection loop here in a minute too before I get off. Clydesdale Media. Hey, Kat, how is Scott with this show you're doing? Any clips I've seen or any times I've watched the show and you guys talk about this new show you're doing, he seems like he might be freaking out a little bit. He doesn't seem excited about it. I'm not sure what his deal is, but he seems like he has some reservations about your new show. Intro to the dating apps, 5 p.m. today, Pacific Standard Time. Boy, this show could get interesting. There you go. Notifications on. Oh, notify me. Oh, it was already on. I already had it clicked. Look at someone's already waiting. I wonder if that's me. Subjects will include dating, motherhood, relationships, divorce, social media, and life. You should put on there small penises and small penises. Or giant penises. Sevon, when do I start my podcast? Will you be my first guest? I'll be fair. No. I hate it when people ask me to be on their podcast. Don't ask me to be on your podcast. I fucking hate that. Especially if it's new. Unless it's big, unless it's gonna help me. Don't invite me. I'm already the fucking king. I don't want to do it. Okay, look at the perfection loop. So I tried to show you guys this the other day. This is the same as the fishing loop. So it goes like this. I think I know how I fucked it up the other day. And then you make another loop in front of this loop, but it has to go behind. So both go behind this tail that's hanging down. Can you see it? It's kind of hard to see. They both go behind. It's called the perfection loop or the fishing loop. And then you take this piece and you put it between the two loops. Like so. See that? And then you pull the small loop in the front. You pull the front loop and inside of the back loop. And you pull. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. And there it is. The perfection loop or the fishing loop. Solid, right? A beast. Oh, is that what it's called? The climber's knot? They have so many names. God, it's beautiful. Anyway, get yourself some rope and start learning some knots. It's fun. You'll have fun. My kids love that shit. Last night I asked them to do it, and they're like, no, we want to do this. It was like 8:30 at night. I think they were playing Monopoly. And so I'm like, fuck you guys. So I just started doing knots, and then, of course, within 2 minutes, they all came out there telling me I'm doing them wrong. And I'm going to tell you a little trick I learned with my kids. And I've been preaching this since day one, but it's been a while since I preached it. I don't get into I really don't get into very many power struggles with my kids. And I don't know, maybe it's just the nature because I have 3 boys and they're all close to the same age. But I'll be like, hey, boys, come to, like, so yesterday I had them do this workout like pretty late at night, probably 8 o'clock. They had just come home. They had a whole day of shit. Gymnastics, striking, school, then striking and kickboxing for an hour. And then they had to drive an hour to gymnastics camp. Then they came back and they did tennis for an hour. And then they went straight to the swimming pool and swam. And then they went back to, jiu-jitsu. And so then they come home and it's like, fuck, we've been out all day, right? Training. So then I go in the garage and I work out. Really fuck my shoulder up. My shoulder's been bothering me, and I did 100 push-ups yesterday, and now it's really fucked up. I really, really fucked it up. Anyway, so and to punish myself for that, I'm gonna fast today. You know what I mean? Like, hey, fuck you. You hurt your shoulder. Okay, you don't get to eat tomorrow. Kind of that kind of shit. So, like, you don't want to get in power struggles with your kids. So basically, I said, hey guys, come into the garage. I finished working out, and I say, hey guys, come into the garage, and it's time to do a workout. And my workouts are so fucking easy and so fun, the ones I do with the kids. And so one of them's eating a bowl of like lentil soup, and he's like, no, fuck you. And then another one's like, hey, I'm reading right now, fuck you. And one of them's like, I'll come. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, come on, boys, all 3 of you need to come. And then that's it. Like, that's it. So I bring one in there, and basically what I have them do is I have them, I like to do everything in progression. So I have those Rogue flooring mats, and I have a boy jump to a 1.5-inch mat and then step down with the right foot 5 times, and then the same thing with the left foot. He does it just to a 1.5 inch mat very slowly. And every 10 he does, I put another mat on top until it's, I forget how many mats I have. I probably have like 17 mats. So by the end, they're jumping to 17 inches plus a 1/2 inch. They're jumping to 25 inches or something. And it ends up being like 170 jumps with 170 step downs. But I don't even get 2 mats in before the other 2 boys come in. And that always happens. And then so they all did it. And then I said, hey, who wants to go the opposite way now with like only 5 jumps, right? So now that they're at the top, I'm going to have them go back down. And so I put this weight vest on Avi. I think I put a 16-pound vest on him or something. And I had him go back down. And the other 2 boys are like, fuck you, we're not doing it. And I'm like, okay, fine. And of course, what happens? As soon as they see their big brother do it, they start to do it. Just no power conflicts. It's the same thing with when I say, hey, I'm leaving the house right now. And they're like, we don't want to go. I'm like, fine. And I just go sit in the car. And within 30 seconds, they're all out there. And they're like, you make us do all this stuff. And I don't engage them. I don't say, no, I don't. I don't say nothing. It's the exact opposite of this show. It's the exact opposite of how I deal with Pat Lang. Just don't say nothing. And they just follow. They just do. So try that. You don't have to react to your kids. And then tonight you can give your kids some free time while you cruise on over to the Clydesdale podcast. And this show could really be driven by comments, tactful comments. I hope Caleb watches this. It's live in 7 hours. God, I bet you tracked just a shitload of fucking horny dudes. I guess that's a good thing. All right. I'm going to go. Sun's out. It's been shitty weather here. I don't know what's going to happen. Friday night, after I get to Ashland, I'm going to try to set up my computer and do a CrossFit Games update show. Oh, who do I have on the show tomorrow? What is tomorrow? Thursday? I don't have anyone. Oh, so tomorrow, watch Kat's show tonight, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll critique it. All right. I got to go. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.